Hello and welcome to our podcast, Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm Lauren. And I'm Michelle. And we're so excited you stopped by for a visit. Come on in. Yeah, make yourself at home. We're two Midwestern sisters who love a good old-fashioned conversation and enjoy sharing our life experiences with one another and you. Consider this your one-stop shop for cozy, mindful well-being, along with some entertainment and lots of wheezy laughing. Oh, you bet there'll be a lot of that going around. Our goal is to live our coziest life and inspire you to do the same because the truth is, we think it's good for your mind and your body. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's get cozy. Well, hi there, hello, and welcome to Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I am your host, Lauren Massarella, being joined by my co-host and fearless co-leader, Michelle Anderson.
Co-leader, love that. That's right.
How I like it. I just kind of threw that one in there.
I'm here.
You are here, and you are not queer.
No, I'm here. I'm not queer, but I'm your ally if you are.
Thank you.
So there you go.
I love that. That's amazing. That is phenomenal. You guys, welcome to Cozy Conversations. This is episode 339.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. We have a great convo for you guys today. We're talking about all the things, the Bezos wedding, blah. We're really not talking much about that at all, to be honest. That conversation is as boring as the news coverage of it. But we're talking about some perimenopause stuff, a lot of brain health stuff, and we're wrapping it up with our last segment.
Stellar list.
Yes, of reading, watching, listening to. Before we move on to our review, I want to give a quick shout out to our whiff, Chrissy, Chrissy guided me into the right direction for a doctor regarding perimenopause. You'll hear that doctor's name in the conversation. It's out here in the western suburbs. But Chrissy, thank you. You did me a solid, and she did not disappoint. With
Love
that being
that.
Yeah, it's the truth. And Michelle, with that being said, you have a review. We had a weird internet friend / listener write in late last night. And I think we should share this for all to hear.
Happy to share. And it goes like this. Ladies, not sure if you are all still using the M61 pads. We are. Wanted to share that I just saw a 10-pack at TJ Maxx for $6.99, which run, don't walk. That is a
wild
steal.
I think that a 10-pack is usually $30.
Yeah. Speaking of, if you ever want to revisit a skincare episode when the world isn't consistently bombarding us with content, I'm here for it. Love the show, the diversity of topics you cover, and the sisterhood you have created. Love you, longtime listener. 5 stars.
Elizabeth.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. Good vibes. I promised good vibes. Last week, I took away the lip kisses.
And look what happened.
I'm still open to it if anyone's willing, but you get good vibes, Elizabeth. Thank you for the prompt at TJ Maxx. And yeah, we probably should have a little skincare episode one of these days. We'll put that in our bucket. Thank you so much for listening and for the 5 stars. All right, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, for pressing play. You're going to enjoy this episode. I think you're going to get a lot out of it, and do us a solid. If you know someone who is also keeping brain health top of mind, no pun intended, be sure to send this episode directly to them. Copy paste the link and send it to them via text. This is one of those episodes that it's nothing like, oh my God, I've never heard that before, but it's a really good reminder, because there's good habits and there's bad habits. We're just looking to inject some good brain health habits into your day.
Correct. And one more thing before we let you off to listen to this show, please do a solid and go to whatever platform you stream Cozy Conversations on, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and click follow. We so appreciate that. That really helps our cause.
Why, thank you, listener. Enjoy your day and enjoy the conversation.
Well, that's our cue, I think. All right.
Our cuckoo clock.
Couldn't have been more timely if we pressed a button ourselves.
Oh, Jesus. A little warm up.
Speaking of warm, last night was a little bit of a rough sleep in my house.
Why is that?
Because the heat situation in the summer, the temperature on the second floor in my home is horrific.
sounds like a Lagrange thing. I feel like our house and then our family friend's house was the same.
Well,
Like it
we
would get
need
so hot on the second
we
floor.
this house, one air conditioning unit does not cool this house
What do you mean
efficiently.
one air conditioning
We
unit?
need two. We need a
Where's
separate one for the second floor.
where is it in the basement?
No, it's the thing outside. I'm just saying it cools the whole house, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really. Like we need to
Oh.
install a second unit that
Power it
just
up.
cools the second floor because I mean, Mia told me she woke up a couple nights up. She woke up with no shirt on. I was like,
Yeah,
"Did
you
you have a
start
bra?
stripping.
Did you have a bra on?" And she was like, "Nothing." I'm like, "Oh my god, that would have been weird if Dad walked in."
Yeah, it was pretty dang warm.
It is
Um,
pretty
it is
dang warm.
it
Have you
is.
been
Well, it's
outside?
summer. People, you know what I'm getting annoyed already by is people being like, "Oh God, it's so hot." I'm like, listen, you guys, some of y'all
Well,
fucking
it's the
bitch
mid.
when it's
No, it's
too
the
cold.
Midwest. That's what
It's the
we
Midwest
do.
attitude.
That's what we do.
It's so annoying.
I mean, it's never good enough.
Well, I
It's
mean,
like,
when is it good though? Like that's my question for
listen,
these
we love the four seasons, but we
hate
can't live
them.
without complaining about the big swings.
At yoga, people are walking and be like, I mean, literally went from too cold, it's not warm enough, to it's too hot. And I'm like, you guys,
I would
everybody
agree
just,
it's too hot. I would agree.
I mean, it's hot, but it's
You're
fucking
not,
summer.
you guys listen,
What
people
else
can
is
call me and
supposed to be?
like call me out during the winter, but I'm not going to be one to complain about the cold temps because I'm morning, noon, and night can calibrate and sleep comfortably. The summer is a tough time in the Anderson house.
Listen, I hate 95 and above. That's, I mean, listen, I prefer cool temps, like comfortable temps over too hot. For me, winter, like when winter begins to turn into that gross ass, like winter, spring, all
You're
in one
talking about,
day,
okay.
like March,
Well, March is
May
the
at this
worst month of the whole year. It's brown snow,
that's
black snow,
gross. It is
least favorite.
gross.
And this is fine if I'm sitting by a lake or I'm about 2 inches away from a pool. But goddamn, there's no lounging outside in the afternoon in this temp. It's just too damn hot.
No, and what I find interesting is that, you know, a lot of people right now everyone's escaping. This is where everyone packs up and they go to Italy. I have friends in Portugal and Spain. Like the European vacations are starting right now. And we're not taking one this summer, maybe fall, winter. And I'm living for other people's travels right now.
Mm.
And I will say that this past weekend, the much anticipated, I hope you sense my sarcasm there.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Bas-
not by me.
I mean, you know me, I love like the pomp and circumstance of weddings and the royal
Just not theirs.
family.
Just not theirs.
Just not Bezos. I don't know what it is about caring. Literally, when it comes to caring less, our motto couldn't have given more fucks. Less fucks, I think you mean. I mean, over this wedding. Like,
Yeah.
I just, and I'm a sucker for fashion. I love like what are people couldn't care less. Just didn't. I swiped, I saw some, and I'm just like, this is so. At one point, I saw a photo of Lauren Sanchez Bezos now waving from like a little
Like a
like
Venetian.
balcony, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you Pope? What is happening here?
Mm.
Who are you waving at?
I know. I was waiting for his name.
You're
Don't
not
cry
Kate.
for me, Argentina, or something.
It was just such and I love the pro Italians. They're also like, get the fuck out of here. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is not the place you want to bring all of your famous friends. So I saw a great meme that was like, who are their friends? Why are they inviting El
Yeah,
Goulian? What's her
Ellie
name?
Gould. Yeah, the singer.
Yeah, and Sydney Sweeney to their wedding. Sydney's like 27. How did she get mixed up with this crew?
I know. I left with a couple of questions myself because you can't avoid the pictures and images in the social media
Yeah, it's
scroll.
there.
So,
That's
like,
a-
I've got just like a handful of questions. Number one, Leo, if you didn't want to be seen, why did
oh,
you
that is his
go?
thing. That's
Okay,
his
because he's
thing.
got the hat over his face. I mean, everywhere. I have to say one thing though.
He's
I'm here
consistent.
for a black ball cap, and I think I'm going to start wearing it to formal events because it's just an opportunity for me to not have to fix
But will
my
you
hair.
be dipping it down and lowering your chin down?
Only if
Like,
I'm
are you
sitting in the
cognito?
sun and it's super, super hot, just
Copy
to
that. Okay.
protect my skin. Second question is, did Tom Brady and Sydney Sweeney bump uglies? But then again, also, is it possible that Orlando may have dipped into the Sydney Sweeney pond?
That's the rumorville. I've heard. I have a friend that will text me, like kind of celeb gossip. And I don't know, that remains a mystery. Again, like these are things, these are a group of people that I don't
If it
really.
was anyone else, we would be
If it
caring
was
about it.
like, even like when Kim Kardashian had her weird wedding with Kanye, like icky poo poo, like that guy, marrying that guy, this is just, again, decisions. What kind of decisions are we making? Look how that one turned out. Could care less. If it was just someone that I don't know, the spectacle I think of this wedding was just a joke, and the guest list was just, I don't know, it's boring. Honestly, boring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's one.
I have
That's my.
more fun. I have more fun looking at
I
Bezos'
had more
wife
fun
in the beginning of time and just to see the evolution of her
of
face.
him. I had more fun at Luna June's third birthday this weekend. I mean, who
Same.
didn't? Honestly,
Great
any one
time.
of those people.
Great
We had
time.
it was a great time.
It's a great party. Different kind of a
This is
vibe. Not as
this
formal.
not as formal, but I'll tell you what, like Luna's birthday, since we don't throw like our big ass Halloween parties anymore, which trashed our house.
Yeah.
This house, this kid birthday party in the in the summer outside is really lovely. Like it's
It
there's
is.
still people inside, but it's not like a Halloween party inside where you've got like makeup smeared on your
Oh,
wallpaper,
yeah. Or
people
like a
breaking
kid's
like the
December
toilet,
1st
like what?
birthday. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no. So yeah, that was a huge success. We did it. Our Neil Diamond, she loves Neil Diamond. So we had this incredible cake baked from my grandpa's store, which you delivered in pristine shape. Thank you.
I know. Thank you. It was no problem. My pleasure. Honestly, when you're like, is it putting you out to pick up the cake? I was like, you mean
Like it's
from the
2 blocks from my
baker
house.
that's on my, literally on my street?
It's on your street. Yeah, that was that cake. Every year it's a funfetti cake, which is my favorite. I mean,
So
it's
good.
Luna's favorite too. She's loving it. And then we did this Neil Diamond, yeah, like little caricature. And I will tell you something. I need to give a shout out to Portillos Catering.
It's that time of
This
year.
is this is the easiest party because we do, instead of, I don't call it really finger foods, like hand foods. There's really no
Mm,
forks required. We do Chicago style hot dogs. They come in a Portillo's van, drop it off, set it up. They come in and take it out of the box, set up
real
all of
nice.
it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
one less thing to worry about. You just, when I walked down in the kitchen when I was getting done getting ready, I walked down, I'm like, there's no food out yet, which I wasn't panicking, but I was like, and the magic Portillo's fairy is gonna like bebop her way in here and
Yeah.
like sprinkle some magic dust, and these dogs will appear on my
Mm.
countertop. And by the time we were done, there were 2 dogs left. And I think we ordered about 40
Shut
or
up.
50.
Were there 2? That was it? Wow,
That's
that's
2
perfect
dogs.
order. That's a
Yep.
perfect order.
And then we get what is our favorite, one of our favorite things. This is a different kind of shout out because it's not Portillo's. It's a little Italian woman in like Elmwood Park that makes panzerotti, or as my dad kept correcting me, panzerotti.
Panzerotti.
Sorry, panzerotti. I was like, Dad,
Yeah.
I can't.
Mm, I know. I was there for that whole exchange.
Michelle, 2 or 3 times he corrected me
Yep.
because I was like, did everyone get a panzerotti?
And he was like,
Michelle?
Panzerotti. And I was like, what are you talking like? You're acting like you're fluent in Italian. You like hang out with our relatives
Like
for a
you
couple days and
roll an
develop an
R.
accent. I was like, here we go
And
again.
like they probably don't
I'm
even
mad
have.
because I wanted to study Italian
I
in high school. And my Italian dad was like, study Spanish. And I was like, why? Because every time I go see our relatives, I have to fucking do charades because I
Yeah.
can't understand
I'm
anyone.
sorry. Well, now you know how to say panzerotti.
Panzerotti.
Michelle, how was the rest of your weekend?
My weekend was great. I mean, my weekend kind of like, it started off with a bang. Like our Friday morning, I kicked off the weekend with a CF fundraiser that the Sister Project was a proud
Hell
sponsor of.
yes.
So fun. And then the weekend just kind of, it was like I kind of just went where the wind blew. There was several hours of pickle played. Sweat a ton, had a great impromptu breakfast at our friends, the Cahills. After we were playing, our friend Jen, we were like, let's go get something to eat. And she was like, you know what? I'm whipping some stuff up in the kitchen. What do you say you
Oh,
come
that's
over
even
here?
better.
And I was like, wait, if you're cooking, I'll be
I'm
there.
coming.
And she made like basically her version of like an egg harbor. Anyone from the LaGrange, Hinsdale area knows about their like scrambler skillet type dishes. But it was like diced potatoes, jalapeno, cherry tomatoes. It had a little heat. There was some cheese I saw melting in there. Atop
Yum.
some like over easy, over medium eggs with some hot sauce. I was
Mm,
like, actually, I'm never going out for breakfast again. I'm
that
just
sounds
coming here.
lovely.
Yeah. And then,
Yum.
oh, but Lauren, I forgot to tell you about my first, actually, on Thursday night, I hit up the LaGrange Writers Group for the first time in LaGrange.
Yes.
And had never done that before, have been wanting to. And
What was
finally,
that
kind of,
like? I'm kind of into these like random community club meetings. Like there's a couple knitting and book meetings around me that I feel tempted to go in on.
I
And
mean,
you ripped off this Band-Aid here with this writers group. What was it
I'm
like?
I'm here to say don't even be tempted. Just go do it. I walked in blind. I had no idea what to expect. There was a group of I want to say like 15 people sitting in a big giant circle, and
Like an
this
AA
is
meeting.
sort of I guess. And
Yeah.
you know, different writers bring some work to the previous meeting that they would like you to read in advance. And as our group leader, whose name, are you ready, is Michelle Marie Anderson.
It's honestly, that's the other
That's
Michelle's
my
name.
name. That's
It's
my
so,
name.
this is like, there's another Lauren Massarella out there who I get all of her emails.
So freaky and funny. But once we figured that out, it was like, I was like, there was like all of the ice had been broken. We had that connection. And I learned that some of these folks have been going to this writing group for years and years and years, all ages, all backgrounds,
So
poets,
cool. I
prose.
love this.
Oh, and honestly, extra cozy. I
Yeah, you
can't
said Gilmore. You
wait.
were at the Gilmore Girls set. You were on
I,
the
I,
set of the Gilmore Girls.
it brought me back to like being in a lit class because I have a lit mate. I'm of a bachelor in lit. Like I
Mm,
studied English and grammar and all these things. You'd never know it, but I did.
but you did.
And I did.
That's
And
all that matters.
sitting around with surrounded by these people, I was like, I kind of was like, these are my people. Like this
Yes.
felt natural. So yeah. And we had a
And
great
it's
time.
once a month or twice a month
It's
meeting.
twice a month. And I think that there's various versions of the meeting. Sometimes maybe we won't be reading and shredding up people's
Oh
work
my
and
God. I
really getting
love
nasty
when
with
you
our
say it
critiques.
like that. Your mouth moves to the side.
Well, that's what Marie said. I think she goes by Marie. She said, she's like, come on, guys, make sure you submit some work so we can get real mean and rip it to shreds. I was like, are you the principal from Greece? Are you the principal from Greece? It was
Okay. I just
incredible.
swallow that coffee.
Could you envision that?
The principal from Greece, yes.
Rip it
This
up.
reminds me also of like Jan, Sexy Jan Goes to Garden Club. Like these little community-based clubs are so worth hitting up.
They are. And as we'll talk later, also so good for your brain.
Oh, I love that. You're right. Perfect segue.
Yay.
So last week, I finally went to my much anticipated doctor appointment for perimenopause. And I had been on the hunt for a doctor, an expert in this field, for quite some time. And then our good friend our good whiff friend. No, that's a something. Anyways, gave me a name and a number.
Are you going to share?
Yes, her name is Dr. Ann Schreiber, and she's out of Lisle, right by the Morton Arboretum. And first of all, the first thing that it makes me feel comfortable to really be able to sit with the doctor and ask the questions and not feel embarrassed and feel seen, all of the above, is bedside manner. If they come in kind of like an alien and I can't get on this level with them, listen, I know everyone's on different spectrums and different communication, and whatever. I just feel like if I can't meet them somewhere or I feel like there's really like a lack of connection, it's hard for me. And I will tell you, this doctor, Dr. Schreiber, that it was incredible. The way she came in, the eye contact, the handshake, the smile, like right from the get-go. She really reminded me of my doctor who performed my endometriosis procedure, Dr. Shaushua. Just really willing to sit there, be patient, and listen to all of your thoughts and concerns. And that's what Dr. Schreiber did. She sat down and we just kicked things off right away about perimenopause in regards to any symptoms that I'm having. And one of the, I guess, big markers of perimenopause is your period, like getting out of whack. Like if it's still regular and you're getting it every month, you're probably not in perimenopause. And I know. Well, but she didn't say it like that. It's not black and white because there's other symptoms that come with perimenopause that can show themselves.
Can I just share my symptom 9,222, which is waking up this morning feeling like I was literally run over by 11
What's that
trucks.
from? I don't know if that's
joint pain.
That might just be getting older. Are you sleeping with a good pillow? And
no,
how are you sleeping?
Lauren, no, I'm not sleeping with a good pillow.
Let's fix that first, and then let's see. I'm not dismissing you, but you do have joint stuff, but maybe you need to sleep better.
Yeah.
You gotta get that cervical pillow, babe. You gotta get it. It's a game changer. Anyways, so we dive into some things that I think might be showing signs of peri, and we're gonna run the labs. I go back this week for blood work, but it really kind of based on what I've shared, it does not sound like I am like in the throes of perimenopause.
Okay.
Definitely in the age range. My big concern, I told her, I was like, I just don't want it to be too late for HRT, if that's an option for me.
Because is that a thing? It can be too,
yes,
you can miss
but older, like 10 years past your last period.
Got it.
Like when you're kind of getting old, too
so
old,
I'm
maybe
still
too old.
Yes. Okay.
Again, these are why I went there. I had questions for her that I had no answers to. Okay, so that was one question answered. Which was very interesting. We talked a lot about HRT. We talked a lot about, once we kind of determined that I'm probably not in the middle of perimenopause, we kind of went on to discuss other health concerns and priorities that I want for my life. And really the two main ones are heart health and brain health for me because they are so interlinked with one another as well. When I shared with her that mom died from dementia at 67, her first question was, did she have cardiovascular disease? Did she have a stroke that you know of? I answered both of those questions. No. However, mom was very overweight and mom did not do, this is a little story about our mom, June, who was, who put a lot of people before herself. And that was really something as a young person, I always knew about her. Never once, and Michelle, I'm curious what because again, we talk about you've got the older sister memory. Maybe you have memories of this. Never once did I see my mom really prioritize her health in a manner of being okay, I learned this from my mom. I should do this. I should do that to maintain good health. I don't ever have a recollection, maybe once in a while going for a walk, constant yo-yo dieting in an effort to lose weight. So that might be her form of self-care. Yes, she stayed in contact with friends, but really other than that, I can't say that my mom prioritized her health, mental health or physical health.
I think our mom lived the majority of her life in a constant state of exhaustive burnout.
Totally. And stress, which is going to trigger the hot topic that we're going to talk about here. But in any case, so these are this is kind of the conversation I'm having with Dr. Schreiber, sharing her a bit about mom's history and whatnot. But then she gets it right away. She's like, got it. You are clocking in for brain health. Let's start talking about these things. And so we did. We talked about, like healthy weight and brain and heart health. It's no secret, cardiovascular disease really shines a light on women. Like we are their main kind of victims. I mean, men too, but that's the number. I believe cardiovascular is the number one killer of women. And then there's all these different things that come from this kind of situation. Like we know people that have dementia related directly to cardiovascular health. Our mom had a very interesting variant called FTD, which is the same one Bruce has. I don't know if that one's like
Bruce Willis, if you're
what
listening.
Did I just say?
You just said his first name.
I thought I said, I'm like, did I say not? Like, okay, Bruce Willis. Yes, thank you.
Lauren's talking about him like she's been to their house for dinner.
I mean, might as well, because I can connect so deeply on what his family is going through. And so, I don't really know as much about the form of dementia that my mom had, but all I know is that we are not raised to take into consideration our brain health. We are just kind of raised to stay fit, and we don't realize that conversation goes.
We're changing that though.
We really weren't
raised that, but
and
we're shifting that narrative.
I'm going to tell Luna about this. This is good stuff for your brain. So we talked a bit about that. We talked a bit about weights. I am very comfortable with where I am in my weight. I know that I have gained a little bit of weight, especially since I lost weight to go to Italy and then probably gain it all back. And we talked about, height versus weight ratio, all of these things. And she did recommend that for my heart health, this was not the conversation she started. I asked her specifically, tell me your thoughts on my weight in regards to my height. Like, am I at a healthy weight? Tell me more. And she's like, listen, if we're looking at like statistics and technicalities, you would be considered overweight, which is hilarious because I'm like a size 8. I don't think I physically
like a heroin chic model or something.
I think they're really thinking about like overall health and heart health. She was really focusing on heart health. But I also think this is the interesting thing about this. I have really been so overwhelmed just with work and keeping up and just juggling a lot of balls that my workout has fallen by the wayside. I work out a couple times a week where I want to be working out 4 to 5 times a week. You know what I mean? So her saying that to me is more of like instead of like, don't eat so much. It's more start working out again, girl. Like
I have to say that
movement.
That's kind of my mindset shift has been that too. And this book that I read, Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia, really inspired that for me. Because I was kind of, when I was a young mom, like I wasn't prioritizing myself. I tried to, but it was the first thing to go on my chopping block. And then I sort of became a weekend warrior where I was like only working out on the weekends because I wasn't working and I didn't have time.
It's not fair.
And it's not okay. And then now I'm like really, like exercise should be like a daily non-negotiable.
Absolutely. And whether that's walking or lifting weights or doing yoga or pickleball, there's so many different ways to do it, right? So that's definitely part of the conversation. So the conversation with her was exceptionally empowering because I want to take control of my heart health and my brain health. And I don't want things to sneak up on me. I know that since I had hypertension during pregnancy, that's something that might come back to me like in my 60s. And she said that this is just what happens. It's just kind of like science. But there are things you can do to all of this stuff is preventative, right? So like not all of it. Some of it's genetic, of course. Stuff can run in families. But I said to her, I said, sometimes the reason why I get scared about like coming to the doctor is because if you tell me something, I'm thinking death sentence. And we had like a little bit of a good giggle together because she was like, you are at a time in your life at your age, which when I said midlife, she's like, please don't ever call yourself midlife again. She's like, you're so young. And I was like, oh my God, again, love you. She was saying like, you are at an age right now where you can make really critical choices in your life and your longevity. Meaning like if you do things now, those are going to, good or bad, those will impact your years to come. And it was just a wonderful conversation. And I left there thinking, here are the things I have to do. I have to monitor my blood pressure, which I'm so thrilled to share that therapy works because I have been in therapy for months now regarding a lot of different things. One of them, health anxiety. And I've shared here sometimes that when I go and sit in a doctor's office, I can be as cool as a cucumber, like so relaxed. The minute she's like blood says the word blood pressure, I feel it. I feel my heart start to go up. They put me in the chair with the paper, the wax paper, and I'm like, oh my God, throat closing. Like this is so fucking stupid and more so annoying. Well, I went in there with such a different mindset that I usually do. And my mindset going in was, I am healthy. I am a
Mm.
healthy person going in to talk how to even be healthier. And there's
Isn't
some
it
things, well,
Isn't
yes,
it funny though how we as humans, we are healthy and like but
yes,
we have to work so hard
to
to
convince
lead with,
ourselves of
to
that,
convince ourselves of not even like, it's not even a Jedi mind trick. It's a fact
it's
that you're
just a
healthy.
fact. I
You know what I'm
know.
saying?
And
But
that's what
we
I,
go right to
yeah, the worry zone.
we're goners.
But the coolest part was the power of your brain because I sat down there and yes, my blood pressure for the first time she took it at the beginning of the appointment was it was slightly elevated. It wasn't like the last time I took it, the nurse was like, can you sit down and take a few deep breaths? Like she was like concerned for my well-being. This one, she was like, it's kind of up. Fine, let's do this again later. She came back at the end of the appointment and I felt a little nervous, but what do you know? She took it. She's like, it's perfect. And I'm
Mm,
like, oh my, I almost started, last time I got that done, I cried out of like embarrassment and shame and all these stupid feelings. And this time I was almost like in tears of joy. I'm like,
mm,
that I do have this sense of self-regulation and a lot of months working on this idea of worrying for no reason. So it was really fun to go to this appointment, talk to Dr. Schreiber about all these things that I'm curious about and learn and consider deeper, more impactful ways to take care of my heart and brain health.
mm, mm.
So all in all, a fantastic like doctor's appointment.
I may make an appointment for Dr. Schreiber faster than I'm going to get a cervical pillow.
Well, do that after the appointment that is being made. You know, there's something to be said about like just sitting down and I talk to my therapist a lot about like health worries and anxieties have gotten better, of course. But talking to this person, this individual who is an expert in this field and leaving feeling like you were listened to, that I mean, and I will say she made some recommendations that I did not align with, and especially in regards to my endometriosis and birth control and things like this. Um, in fact, at the end of the appointment, I asked her, um, I said, I did not anticipate that this question would being asked, but I'm going to ask it anyways. I said, would I be, and I wasn't curious really for myself. I was more curious for a little bit of market research so I can share with others. I said, would I be a candidate for like a GLP-1 or a
Yeah.
Ozempic, something like that? And she's like, no, you're not in that range where you would be. This is like detrimental to your health. You have to lose weight because you got a host of problems that are happening because you are overweight. So
So, but there are doctors that are prescribing it to people that are, I'm seeing
that
it.
are not, I know, well, which is kind of why I love the fact that she was like, no, it's not for you. It's, there are people that can really benefit from it, but you need to just do a little bit of different kind of work, and she's absolutely fucking right. I needed someone to say, stop eating the animal crackers. I am also eating stupid, shitty food sometimes that I've never eaten in my entire life because I
Yeah,
have a
because you're a mom.
motherfucking 3-year-old.
And
Yes.
you probably haven't had a chance to make your own meal and you're just so fucking
That's
hungry that you
actually
want to
a
just
lie. No,
give your,
I
okay,
eat very
okay,
well and
okay,
I make myself very healthy meals. So that's
okay.
not true. I'm tempted. And I'm like, yummy, a little fruit snack. Like what and I know I'm not shaming myself. I'm not sitting here being like, oh my God, I need to lose all this weight. But it is a conversation listen, I don't care what anyone does. I care about me and my body and my health history and my family. For me, it makes sense to be mindful of weight gain, of how that can play a role on my heart health, which plays a
Mm,
role on my brain health. And
mm.
that's, if she said and looked at me and said, don't make a change. This is perfect. Stay as you are. I would be like, oh, even better. But there's some lifestyle changes that I have to make. And that is in an effort for good brain health. And I'm willing to do that.
Yep. And you'll get the results that you're looking for.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, we don't know what our destiny is. And like my one therapist said once when I was like, I'm scared of dementia, he's like, what about, you can get hit by a bus. I will never forget. He goes, you can walk outside right now and get slammed by a bus and die. And I'm like, when you put
But
things into perspective like that, he's just saying like, no one knows how they're going out.
And no one knows, but aren't you feeling the more we're reading and learning and hearing and the more access we have to information, like I get further and further away from, I actually don't even
Yes,
fear
from
dementia
fear.
anymore
Yes.
because I am so well versed in the information and in the understand. Like I had a hunch that a combination of the medical system and our mom's lifestyle and complete denial of her own prioritizing herself is how she ended up dying from this fucking horrible disease. But I can say wholeheartedly that dementia, these are some people describe they're preventative. We have to do what we can
Yes.
to listen. We have the gene, we know that. So let's use that information to our advantage and follow the instruction that all of the things we talk about here are direct contributors to longevity.
And I'll say too, we may have the gene, but I think anyone who lacks healthy lifestyle is susceptible to brain and cognitive
Shit.
decline. Maybe not as early as our mom, but later in life, right? Like if you want that crisp, clear thinking brain, there's so much that we have to do to protect it. So a brain health conversation is for all. It's not just for people whose mom died of dementia.
Totally.
There's people that have been like, oh my God, no one in our family has this. Or, dad's starting to like lose it a little bit. Well, he sits on the couch, drinks Bud Lights, watches sports all day, barely walks, doesn't talk to anybody, blah, blah, blah. Michelle, I can completely or completely echo what you're saying in regards to the fear has subsided in a very.
The fear was real in the beginning.
Of course,
like when mom first got
was.
sick, I was like, we're fucked.
Yes, totally. And I was like, and you don't know. And there's a couple reasons why. It's because if I sit and worry about this my entire fucking life, I once saw that TikTok,
worry yourself sick.
That lady was like, I wish I didn't worry about things that never happened. And she was like 65. I want to be that woman. I want to be like, I never worried about things that didn't happen, right? Also, I just read this beautiful book on death and dying. And we're all dying. Every single one of us. Maybe besides that guy, that billionaire guy out there that's reverse aging himself, he might not pass away.
Okay. Well, he's going to have a real fun time hanging out by himself.
In this dystopian planet that we're living in.
I don't know why people are obsessed with that.
Well, that's what she talks about. She talks about how rich white men want to live forever. It's like this thing. It's like this longevity contest. It's like you've got all the money in the world. Now what are you going to do with it? I'm going to live forever. But this it was called, the book I read was called You Get Smoke in Your Eyes, and it's about a woman who works in a crematory, and she basically helps she's in the end of life industry, and it was just the way she put it. In fact, a quote that I hope to never forget was, every woman who births a baby, births a life, is birthing a death. And when you think about it like that, you're birthing someone, but at one point every human moves on to the next phase. And it's just it was a beautiful sentiment to me, because it makes you realize that you just have to really enjoy and love the life you're living now. Be as healthy as you can. Yeah, enjoy the things that make you happy in moderation, and worry less. And as we know, another reason why we wanted to have this conversation, I got a wonderful email. And if you are in the same camp as us and like wanting to keep your brain healthy and want tips here and there, you want to sign on to the newsletter for Women's Alzheimer's Movement. And this is spearheaded by Maria Shriver. She is a huge player in this community. I believe somewhere along the line, her mother or father, someone had Alzheimer's rather. And so she started this movement. And I think once a week you get these emails, and it's really wonderful stuff. There's a brain healthy recipe. You've got links to different research articles. It's just wonderful stuff. And the most recent email that they sent was about cortisol and stress levels, and that raised cortisol levels years and years and never managing it and being stressed is like a hammer to the brain. Like your brain atrophies from all of the stress. Your brain can't take it. It's like a computer that you treat like shit. you throw it around, one day it's just going to break. So Michelle and I thought we would just kind of dive into, these are just reminders, you guys, but we've got a couple cool statistics to share with you in regards to researched ways that our basic foundations and pillars are of good brain health. So we're going to kind of rifle these off just as a reminder that when you're feeling like you're just couch potatoing it, this will be your little kind of poke to get up and walk around the block a few times or do something. So get moving. This is the first one. They recommend 150 minutes of good movement a week to help support good brain health. And as we said earlier in the conversation, that can be pickleball. Michelle's getting like a good whopping 500 minutes a week on that. So we're good.
Nailing it.
You're nailing it.
Nailing it.
It could be walking. It can be running. Anything that involves your body moving, slightly breaking a sweat, maybe getting that heart rate up a little bit is
and I just
good for your
want to
brain.
chime in, like we don't need to, like, if we try to think about implementing activity, just infusing it throughout our day, where maybe instead of driving uptown to go to the library or to go to have a coffee with a friend, if there's time, build in that opportunity to walk there. That matters. Those moments matter.
And little things like parking your car further in a parking lot. Just park farther and get those extra steps in. Take the stairs.
Choosing
My
the
favorite.
stairs.
You want to know my favorite form of exercise is walking up and down the stairs at Target instead of the escalator. It's my favorite. Like jog up those stairs and trot back down.
We were at the beach last week with one of our sisters, and after we were done, it was time to bring like the paddle boards and the lily pad and
which
all
is a
these
workout.
And you have to go up a few stairs. And our sister was like, "Oh my God, this is a lot." And I'm like, "This is good. The fact that
exercise.
we can do it.
Yep.
Be grateful and consider this part of your workout for the day."
You bring up a great segue. You want to embrace this notion, this mindset, use it or lose it. And that goes across the board for physical and brain health wise. So this one is specifically talking about seeking out mental challenges. They actually recommend in all of a lot of the articles that I read in regards to brain health, in regards to like brain games, crossword puzzles.
My least favorite brain game.
I love them too. I use them on my phone, and I'm going to get back to them. They're fun on the phone. And you can actually do crossword puzzles in real life if possible. I've explained this before. Like if you forgot an actor's name, or if you're trying to think of a city you've been to or the name of a restaurant, but you can't quite get it, and it's like on the tip of your tongue, instead of looking it up right away, jog your brain, go through that Rolodex of reminders, like, actor, what other movie were they in? Like, who are they married to? When was the last time I saw them? And then Gary Oldman comes to the top of your brain.
And I like that practice also too, to be applied to like social situations where you might be in a group setting with people where you are going to see people acquaintances in town that you have met once or twice, or you've corresponded in times past. Those moments have given me anxiety. And oftentimes what I found out is if I'm in a real situation where I am anxious, being kind of put on the spot, maybe I need to introduce this person. What I've been practicing, and it has made a world of difference, is a subtle pause. Take a deep breath, just think for a moment. And I was just at an event where I want 10 for 10 for every single person that I was needing to remember or introduce. And I just found that being able to like sit for a second, not flip out and go amygdala hijack USA. And then it's like you win, you've remembered their name, and you also feel like you're not your cognition is not declining, which is a happy moment.
Michelle, which goes in line with exactly what we're talking about next, which is to be social. They say that being social and communicating in person with other people is like cross training for your brain, because your brain has to pay attention to the conversation. You have to read nonverbal and verbal cues. I'm sorry, you have to read interpret verbal and visual cues and respond accordingly. Your brain needs to basically translate what someone is telling you, and then it needs to kind of compute, how do I respond to this person in a normal or if you're like
socially acceptable way?
Exactly. And one of my favorite things is prepping, kind of like what you said, prepping for social engagements, and like kind of meditating into myself, being like, I want to be present for these conversations, figure out good ways to excuse myself when a conversation has ended or if someone else needs me. Like when we were hosting Luna's birthday party, I had to do a lot of like, if you'll excuse me for a moments and properly close down my portion of the conversation and walk away when the time is right, not when they're in the middle of a sentence talking to me and I see something happening over on the other side of the house. So being social, they say that social isolation is some of the most dangerous territory to be in as a person, especially for our elder folks as well. The next one, of course, is to eat smartly. Fruits, veggies, ancient grains, fish are your friends. The closer your food is to nature, the more likely it is good for you. Again, you don't have to be maha to realize that this is the kind of food that best supports your body and your brain and your heart and all of your organs.
Nothing
There's
new
nothing
here.
conspiracy
Nothing
driven
new here.
about this. Check out the Mind Diet, you guys. Getting enough sleep. Adults should get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Sleep is so good for our brains because it resets it. It lets that computer do its thing it needs to do to help prepare us for the next day.
Yeah, I love the analogy of like when you're sleeping at night, it's like the dust is getting swept out. And like when you're not sleeping well, the dust builds up. And then that's when you walk into you're in uncharted, dangerous territory.
Absolutely. The next one is to take control of your health. This is a lot for someone like me who sometimes wants to like just kind of ignore, but I'm hell-bent on taking control of it when it comes to blood pressure. They mentioned high cholesterol, which Michelle, I know you have some thoughts there if you wanted to share it. Overweight and obesity, depression, hearing loss is another major one. So here's something you want to know. Untreated hearing loss increases the cognitive load on the brain and accelerates atrophy in auditory and memory areas. Schedule a baseline hearing check at the age of 50 or sooner if you notice frequent requests or repeats. If mild loss appears, start using properly fitted hearing aids during all waking hours. Clear sound keeps neural networks engaged and lessens the risk of social withdrawal. Huge. Also, even like tinnitus, if you get that a lot, which I do. So I don't get it a lot, but I get it here and there. So I'm planning on getting that checked out as well because I just want to listen. What do we do? Here for it.
I have to do this.
Yeah, you have to. You do. I know that you always joke that you can't hear anything. Not smoking, of course, reduces risks and minimize alcohol consumption. I will be looking into B vitamin supplements. I don't take a ton of supplements. I do my regular, my go-tos, my omega, my multi. I'm going to be looking into this B vitamin. They're associating risk prevention of Alzheimer's with this supplement. I don't know a lot about it to be able to share too much about it, but it's now on piqued my curiosity. Yep. And then another one is to breathe. And this is one of my favorite components of prevention for brain health and for all health, mental health, for being in the moment, for reducing your cortisol levels. Chronic stress releases cortisol that can erode the hippocampus. Counter this with the 4-4-6 breath pattern. So you inhale through the nose for 4 counts, you hold for 4 counts, and then you exhale gently for 6 counts. Sometimes us yogis like to recommend that you double that exhalation. So it would actually be 4-4-8, but a little bit longer than the inhale is kind of what we're looking for. Repeat for 5 minutes twice a day or whenever tension rises. This prolonged exhale activates the vagus nerve and lowers cortisol, protecting memory cells over time. I love this. And this is something you can do first thing before you get out of bed. Just take 3 to 5 long breaths like that before bedtime when you're standing in line at a coffee shop. These are little moments of wellness for yourself that are free of charge and always accessible to you while you're driving stuck in traffic. And I want to close with this final note. And I really loved this. This was one from one of the doctors that was writing for these articles that I was researching. We're not all tumbling toward cognitive decline, but each day we make decisions that affect the brain's health. Over the long haul, it's better to make decisions that contribute to brain health rather than detract from it. And there you go. This is all stuff that we can do.
And that just reminds me of that quote that probably wasn't written necessarily to apply to this, but tiny habits yield great
Yes, it does.
results.
100% that it falls in exact line with what we're talking about.
Well,
Little
then there
things
you
here,
go.
yeah, little things here and there. Michelle, what are you doing that you feel benefits the health of your brain?
I mean, kind of a lot of things. I mean, you talked
What are your
about the pickle. I
toppers?
play
Yep,
pickleball's a big one. You know, they say racket sports are great
yep,
for brain
eye brain.
health. You know, social interaction. I really, I really kind of, that's an area that I like to lean into a lot. I made it promise to myself this year in 2025, I was going to get more involved in network and social community stuff. And I have. And, yeah, I feel like those are kind of my big, but then I don't know. And then I do some stupid things too that don't help. But you know what? I
Yeah,
try
but
to
that's in
do,
moderation. That's in that might be a here or there kind of thing. For me, I'm really into. I love the communication aspect as well, Michelle. With you, as you this like the social aspect, the learning something new. Right now, I'm learning to teach Pilates. I'm getting certified in Pilates, and it's in my industry where I understand how the body moves, but it's so different than yoga. And so I'm learning how to understand not only how to teach something new, how the body works differently in this exercise, in this form of exercise. So learning something new has been exciting for me. And I've gotten into these morning walks where I am walking before the house wakes up. And it's a beautiful way to start the day, but it's
mm,
also getting my shit done and in before everyone wakes up, which I'm really liking. Now,
love
on the
it.
contrary, what do you think you need to work on? Like, what
Well,
do you
I
need to
see
do?
sugar. I mean, it's honestly one of my biggest issues. It's literally an addiction. And I I kind of worry about it a ton. I also feel like, you know, alcohol, cannabis, they're not like they're no one's walking around saying these are amazing for your brain.
Yeah,
So,
totally. Or
but
heart.
they're, so
Hmm.
I would say those would be the leaders, you know.
Yeah, same thing with the sugar. I would love to cut it out or minimize it. I'm not junkied out yet. I'm not like a hot mess when it comes to it, but it's still
I'm not
some
eating like bags of like, uh gummy
sure.
worms at
Yeah.
night. Like, but I mean, if there's a little box of like mini cones from Trader Joe's in there, I'm eating one.
Copy that. And then the other thing that I'm working on is continuing this taking control. Like I have an internist appointment for in July, and that's where I'm going to talk to her and be like, sometimes I do have that ringing in the ears. What do I do about it? Do I need a hearing test? I'm going to do the extra things that maybe I don't necessarily need to do, but I want to do just to cover bases.
Mm, love it.
So there is that. All right, you guys, that is a whole roundup of ways that you can better your brain health. And Michelle, it's so true. Little habits daily can make a huge impact in the long run. All right, switching gears, reading, watching, listening to. I'm diving into a new book. I'll report back next week. Michelle, I haven't even started it yet. So what are you reading?
On a whim and a recommendation by our aunt, I picked up The People We Keep by Allison Larkin. This is a
Mm-hmm.
coming of age novel about a girl named April Sawicki. She's a teenager in the 90s, lives in a small town in New York, kind of feeling like she doesn't fit into her familial home life. She gets a fight with her dad. She takes off in a borrowed car and essentially is homeless. And it's just a coming of age and her experiences and
Wow.
finding connections and kind of learning that, sometimes your family are the people that you find. And I'm
Yes.
thoroughly enjoying it.
Beautiful. Great. Let us know how it turns out by the end. I randomly watched, I'm trying to hit up my like favorite like summertime-ish movies. So I watched Fried Green Tomatoes. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't seen it in so long, but I have.
Oh my God. It is such a good film. And as I'm watching this, I'm sitting here wondering, is this more of a love story between these two women than a friendship?
Oh.
And I can say that I think that it is more of like it's between Ruth and Iggy, and that is those are the two main characters. And even as you're watching it, you're like, these two women are in love. It's not even like, and I feel like this was back in the day, where women had some women, who were in love with one another, just became best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like lived with one another, probably had their relationship probably secret. But the way the story unfolds is just beautiful. Tears squirt out like several times. I don't want to ruin it, but at the very beginning, there is a heartbreaking scene where it just brings you grief. It just brings you back to what grief and death feels like.
Mm.
And it's a beautiful, horrific, sad thing. I highly recommend watching this movie this summer. It's just a
Okay.
really good film.
You always bring the good, like seasonal
Like the
suggestions.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. And Kathy Bates, Tawanda. If anyone out there's listening, Tawanda.
Mm.
Tawanda is basically like a battle call, battle cry for like just fucking do it. So
LFG.
Tawanda.
Love
Michelle,
it.
what about you? A Complete Unknown. You watched it.
I did. I watched the Bob Dylan. Do you pronounce this word biopic or biopic? How do you pronounce
I
that?
have always have always said biopic.
All right. So, yeah. So we watched the Bob Dylan biopic with Timothy Chalamet.
The Bob Dylan
And
biopic.
biopic, so hard to say, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Brother Ben recommended this
Oh, really?
at Luna's birthday. He didn't know this, a huge Timothy Chalamet fan.
Our
And
brother
I
Ben is
can
a
honestly,
huge Timothy Chalamet fan.
yes.
Wow, I would have never seen that
Huge.
coming.
I mean, he rattled off Dune. He loved Willy Wonka. He's obsessed with Bob Dylan.
I had no
He's
idea.
obsessed. And I mean, for folks that don't know much, I honestly didn't know a lot about Bob Dylan other than the fact that in my early college years, I listened to a ton of his music. But this prolific songwriter picked up and left in the 60s and headed to New York City to get into the folk music scene, which honestly seemed like it wasn't that hard for him because that's how good he was.
Okay.
Did you know that Bob Dylan received a Nobel Peace Prize for literature?
I remember hearing rumblings of this, but I don't know much else about that. But yes, I
What,
did know that, but I don't. It's all I know.
which is an epic, I mean, that's like of one of the greatest, highest
Yes.
honors. And what's even more unbelievable about that whole circumstance is he didn't go to receive it.
Why not?
He was a
Was he
very
protesting?
introverted
Yes.
man. He didn't like the crowds. He didn't like the fandom.
No.
He was
Like a true
he was a
artist.
very different, interesting personality, and the shit that he wrote blew people's pants off.
So the only really anything I really know about Bob Dylan, I learned in the documentary One Night of Music when all these famous singers came together to sing We Are the World.
Yeah.
And I think that was the song, right?
Yeah.
And he
was nervous.
Very nervous. He was very nervous. He definitely looked as if he felt out of place. So that's really where I learned most about him, to be honest. But I will watch this film.
It to me seemed like he was a social person in small I mean, from the movie, like this dude really, he had friends and social interactions, but I've also saw that documentary too. And I was like, this homeboy's got the worst case of social anxiety I have ever seen in my entire life.
All right. Well, I will definitely check this out. Anthony will want to watch this as well.
It was great.
Reading, I'm so excited. Listening, rather, I am listening to a book that has been on my to read for a long time, and I've kind of taken a break from the genre. I hopped into, I did The Wedding People, which was a fantastic, easy, beautiful little read. You had some funny moments, some tears, some whatevers. And I highly recommend that book, but I'm back to where I need to go. I need a good psychological thriller. So I am reading a book titled The Only One Left by Riley Sager. And there's a little bit of like a Lizzie Borden. I mean, first of all, Lizzie Borden is mentioned in the roundup, the summary of this book. Basically, this young woman like kills some of her family, and they refer to her as like Lizzie Borden. I'm like, you know what? This is the book I need to be listening to. So I'm back on my bullshit with my psychological thrillers.
Good luck. Have fun.
Thank you.
Keep
I
us
cannot
posted.
wait. I'm going to have I need a page turner. I tried listening to 2 books yesterday because I tap in and tap out. And I was bored. And I was like, this
Mm,
is, I was cleaning out the fridge and I'm like, these two books are not going to do it. Give me murder. And
totally.
so that's what I have now.
So you've gone back to the homeland. Good
I've
job.
gone back. Thank you, Michelle. Simple pleasure. I have to say my simple pleasure this week was sitting next to Luna while our family and friends were singing happy birthday to her and her
Oh,
feeling the love and seeing everyone give
uh,
the love. And it was like Care Bears with their hearts
it
beaming
was
to
so fucking
Luna
cute.
and she received it. And that was a beautiful moment. Yeah, it was very
Well,
cool.
she actually was giving in a lot of moments. Like, I think as parents, like, we get so excited and you want to like see the excitement on your kid and all of the things that you just said. There were a couple of moments where Luna was just everything you could want from your child in a moment. The cake, when she took a bite of her
I
birthday
know.
cake, I
I
was
shared it
standing
on, so you were right there.
I was standing right next to her. I almost slammed my head against the counter. Her eyeballs when she put her lips around the fork to
I
take
don't
it
like,
off of,
I
and she just
know.
like exploded. Like it was
Yeah,
the
she's like,
best thing.
sugar.
I was like, if this is how you eat a piece of cake, talk about like true fucking utter simple pleasure.
Yeah, she just ate the cake. And it was just watching that moment too. And I'm so glad I have it on video because it was such a moment of that simple pleasure of like a little 3-year-old enjoying a cake. What
Darling.
about you? What was your
M-
simple
My
pleasure?
simple pleasure had to do with my little lady as well. We road tripped to Long Beach for the day. On the way home, we just being trapped in the car. I say trapped because trapping my child. It's more like I've got 16-year-olds, they're kind of blooming independence. They're always going. Their friends are their first priority. So to be in the car with her and just to like have her undivided attention. We had great talks, some
I
laughs,
love that.
got into a discussion about, she was asking about Chicago hauntings. So we listened to a couple of
Oh,
Resurrection Mary podcasts
and
on
there's
the
a
way
new book coming
home.
out. There is a book about a book out on Resurrection Mary as well.
Oh, well,
A
tell
woman
me about it
author.
because she's an expert now after the ride home.
Oh my
And
God, it's such a great topic to get into with your mom. I
it was
remember.
great. It was super fun.
Bless. Amazing. Okay, you guys. Well, there you have it. Brain health, simple pleasures, and the most boring wedding in the world. And on that
And
note,
on that note,
everybody,
stay cozy, whips.
thank you for joining us for today's cozy conversation. For more of the Sister Project, check us out on Instagram at the Sister Proj and our website, www.thesisterprojectblog.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and maybe even drop us a review. Until next time, stay cozy.